So let's say that you are on a job interview right now. The whole interview went great, you have nailed the whole thing, you had a great connection, and suddenly they do ask you about, okay, so what's your salary expectation? And you start being like, well, what's the budget for the role? The worst thing to do. Literally, this is the worst advice that I constantly keep seeing online. And you can clearly see that the people who recommend this have never been in recruitment. This is horrible. Please don't follow this advice. There is a few reasons why. I'm going to tell you first one. First, yes, it would be amazing if companies were managed to be transparent about the salaries. But the reality is that they are not. Hopefully that's going to change in the future because obviously it's so much better to go into job interview already knowing what is their budget. Of course, it's so much more comfortable, but it's not the reality yet. So you need to get accustomed to what right now is reality and how to actually work around that. So unfortunately, that is off the table for now. But why is it actually uncomfortable? Because it's very often it's a company policy and the recruiter cannot do anything about that, where they are not allowed. Or so there is this kind of like there's this window, and it all so much depends on what do you bring, right? Who you are as a person, what is your seniority, etc., etc. There's so many different decisions that needs to be around it. Sometimes the recruiter doesn't even know all of these things that are behind the scenes. Really depend again on the company and how transparent even they are within the company. So here are the things that the recruiter cannot even tell you. But what is even worse is that you are basing your worth based on the company budget and not based on the value that you can actually deliver to the company. So that's why I was asking you all of these questions before in the pre-work about what is it that you deliver, because you want to base the salary that you are owed to receive based on what do you bring. So please, please, please don't ask about a budget, and instead, let's have a discussion about how do you know what your value is. The worst is when you start acting very awkward around the salary talk when you are a person who is applying for a job where you are supposed to be making quick and decisions, just to be able to be quick, be able to react quickly and make quite some tough decisions. It's all about your confidence. It's about how you're going to show up in the job. And if already at a job interview before you even get the job, you are suddenly not being able to respond to a question confidently about how you value yourself, whether the recruiter or whoever is the person that you have a discussion with, whether they realize it consciously or maybe not, subconsciously, they don't really feel you so much suddenly for the job. You really, if you are the whole time during the interview coming across as a super confident person and suddenly you cannot discuss this, you're gonna come across as kind of off. So that's why we are doing all of this work so that you are ready for that, because I get it. I mean, it can get stressful, right? I definitely, the last thing I want you to shame you. I totally understand. And I have totally been in the positions where I have asked for not enough money because suddenly I wasn't ready for it during the interview and I felt like I screw up somehow and I didn't practice. And then because I felt like I didn't deliver enough in the job interview, I asked literally for 50% of what I kind of had in my mind because I panicked. So the last thing for you I want is to panic when you are already sitting there, because you need to do all the work before you get to the job interview, and then it just should be automatic and you should just be placing the stuff that you have already prepared. So in the next session, let's finally get to the numbers and let's finally get to the point of exactly what to say, no matter what their budget is. But you know what? Just in case not to forget, the last thing I want you to know, it might happen that you will realize your value and that they will tell you, unfortunately, this is where our budget is. Or they will tell you, maybe, unfortunately, this is outside of our budget. And either you're gonna say, okay, can you approximately tell me where your budget is? Now, this is the moment where you can actually ask it. And they will maybe tell you, you are 10% above our budget. And you can then take two routes. You can say, Yeah, unfortunately, I cannot imagine, going that low. Is that the way how we can change the budget, or is it strict? Or you can say, how would I have to show up? What would I have to do for us to discuss something above the budget? If they tell you, unfortunately, there is nothing we can do, it's fixed, and you know that this is really above your minimum, then you can be happy that you're not losing the time, that they are not losing the time, and you are standing up for yourself. That's it. See you in the next one.